Hey everybody, this is Devin with Homeschool House Calls, and today we are back with our 14 days of curriculum. And it's so exciting because today is sixth grade curriculum picks. Sixth grade, middle school. Okay, no freak out. I promise. I promise. It's really, really not that bad. I know it seems scary and you feel like they're growing up and they're grown. They're not yet. Let me tell you a secret. My 21-year-old is still not grown. He still needs his mama. He has not moved out of the house yet. So we're good. We have time. Now we're going into our last 7 years of school. Yes, seven. That's really a big number. It's not like they're even if you were ninth grade, I would say, whew, it's okay, mama. So sixth grade, um, a little bit of change up from last. There's not a huge difference between fifth and sixth, but a little bit of change up. Some curriculum will still move them down and call them their elementary schools. Some will move up and call it high school. That's really going, I mean, not high school, middle school, but it's really, really up to you when you're grouping them, how you group them. If you have lots of littles, if you have lots of littles, but behind them, always move them up. You want to teach to the oldest kid. The little ones will catch up and usually grab onto the same information. We're still working on loving reading. We want to create love of learning. That is our main goal right now. We're not worried about a transcript yet. Check the laws of your state if you have certain subjects you need to teach. But we're still working on creating that love of learning. Now, if you're wanting to look at an assessment, let's see if I have that. Oh, yeah, I still have it here. Give me a minute. I'll pull it up. We're going to, I'm going to send you back to World Book Typical Course of Study. You can find the scope and sequence for your state. It can sometimes be fiddly, but if you put your state, let's say I live in Alabama, there can be Florida, Mississippi, Georgia, New York. You can Google the name of your state, scope and sequence, sixth grade, state standards. You can put something like that and it will pull it up. I tend to send people back to the World Book Typical Course of Study because I feel like it's easier for a parent to read. Um, I am not saying by any means that you can't learn to read the scope and sequence. I just don't take the time to go through that. I could, but I'm not. This is going to give you a good overview of what to hit. Let's go look at that real quick. We've done a couple of episodes and I have not pulled it up. So we're going to pull that up real quick and let you see what that looks like. Obviously I have too many tabs because it's taken me a minute. Okay. So this is actually first grade was the last time I showed it. We're going to go back and I'm going to show you so this is what the main page will look like. This is, kindergarten, first grade. So we're going down here to sixth grade. There it is. Let me make sure that you see what I see. In fact, I may just back myself out for a minute so that you can see it. It's a little bit bigger. There we go. Let me go there so I can see. Okay, so this is what we're looking at. Some of our high points: arts, animation, architecture, casting, all sorts of fun things. Health and safety. This is really, if you haven't begun to talk about, the stuff, the things that we get nervous over talking about, this is basically a good time to start. Little girls grow up fast, even if they're not ready to. I know not to be too much information, but I had several that started at 10. Good time to start at least about the body functions. Mathematics, sorry, I don't mean to. I know it's nerve wracking, but you can do it, Mama. I believe in you. Science, they're talking about science. Social studies, the Eastern Hemisphere to the Renaissance is what's typical. So that's, social studies is science, is history. Technology, I mean, basically, definitely this is a good time to talk about being safe in our online world, because the online world is here to stay and they have it everywhere and they have access to it everywhere. So I would definitely take into effect, if you haven't already, all those things that come along with growing up. If you need me to spell it out deeper, send me a note. We'll talk. So picking curriculum, always go back to the basics. You need to narrow your overwhelm. I don't want you overwhelmed. You're going to ask yourself, do I want online or offline? Do I want faith-based or secular? Um, at this age, I would do a mix of online, offline, that where you can overlook and see how. I'm not a big proponent of online for younger kids. I don't think it's a good thing. But at this age, they can begin to use technology safely. I would be very picky, very choosy. Outschool, which can have everything from secular to faith based classes, is with Zoom, and they do background checks for the teachers. So if I were going to pick for mine, I would probably do um, math and language arts together. Math, possibly online. I like teaching textbooks, um, their math products. If your child does well with that, my girls are in high school and they have loved it. I did start in middle school with Olivia and Gabriella were middle school. Yeah, they were middle school or started in high school. But I've always kept them in the living room so that I know what's going on. I learned it the hard way with my oldest, to pay attention to what they're doing. Do not assume, ever assume, because children can get in trouble really, really quick. Um, Good internet safety is a good thing to do. We have some great workshops in the group on the app, what you should know about apps with Sabrina Lopez. So, internet safety, body functions are these are the big ones that you need to work now. I would also work a lot on you want to make sure your connection's tight. You want to be able to speak into their heart and influence their world. So do not put them completely online. You want to have part of your teaching day with your middle schooler. Some of my top picks, obviously, teaching textbooks or Matthew C. are some of my favorites. It just depends on what philosophy you want to go with. Teaching textbooks is Spiral. Matthew C. is Mastery, but still don't. I like the online. I have to admit, I'm very techy, but you want to have at least part of your day with your child. Language arts, still going strong. My top pick would be The Good and Beautiful, or Master Books is also highly thought of. I have not used them. Another one to look at this age, I look at Gather Around. I think it works it seems very interesting to me. I have not done that one. So, my top picks, the ones I would suggest you look at, especially if you're new, Master Books is faith based and offline. Very easy for a new homeschool mom to pick up. The Good and Beautiful, they even have free levels, math, language arts. I have a video showing you how to use it on the tablet so that you're not having to print it. But if you don't want to use a tablet or online, you can buy it. I think buying it is about the same price as trying to print it. I would not print it at home. It is super, super ink rich, and you're going to end up spending almost the same amount as what it would be if you just bought it. They are almost always back ordered. So use the downloads happily. Use it on a tablet if you can. You're together. You're not, I would not put my sixth grader on autopilot and let them do all their work by themselves. They can be independent, and you want to work toward independence, but I don't know that all sixth graders are ready for that. Now, if you go through my the YouTube channel, I do have some where I have business meetings with my teens. Sixth grade is not teen yet. Most of the time it was around 13. If your child is ready, you can try that. I do start working toward independence and having them manage their time. I do think it's better suited for seventh or eighth grade, depending on the child. And we will talk about that this week. We'll talk about it. But really, overall, take your time to make that connection. Have a mama date. Hire a babysitter for younger kids if you can afford it. Try to afford it. Take time at least once a month to make connection. If you have a really nice place in your yard, pull them outside and talk to them on the porch. Your connection and your time in your middle schooler will not go to waste. Um, it is the best thing you do because as you speak into the life and you are able to influence them, the teen years are going to be easier. Maybe not always. It's always rocky. I'm telling you, I learned a lot with my first, but he has turned out to be a great kid. But that is my top picks for, oh, I hadn't talked about other things. Y'all, I'm going to get done and y'all wouldn't even know about history and science. Science, Apologia was what we used the first few kids. Also, exploration education. They have every level, but it's the same content. Works really well if you're trying to group all your kids together. Lots of experiments. Apologia is good. There is a new app, and I can't remember the name, and I'm eyeing it because I would really like to try it. I wish if they ever see my videos and they want me to beta test it, I would love it. But lots of videos in there. My ninth grader is very, very much visual, video based learning. That is how she works the best. But even with her, I try to make sure I'm pulling her toward my side at least once a day so that we have connection and we have time to talk because this is the years that they have things they need to say. Well, they always have needs to say. I mean, really, how many questions a day do you get? They talk a lot, and if you give them time and you just sit there and listen, they'll talk to you. They don't hide. If they start hiding, there's something going on. Um, Lots of time spending. If they want to read good books, fiction, autobiography, let them do it. We still want to build those reading skills and we want to build that love of learning. Definitely look for something with lots of experiments. Mess is a given. History, I still like Story of the World. I'm not a fan of the Good and Beautiful's history. It was too fiddly, too much, took up too much time. I had 5 kids, and so I always looked for history and sciences that had the textbook on CD so that it can be our MP3, so that it can be popped into the car and listened to going down the road. Podcasts are some great ones for science and history. Look in the channel we have World Geography. You hear that thunder? World Geography by Erin Wainwright. Is She has a fabulous ideas for getting that learning in. um, let's see what else. History, yeah. But most of all, my main things to watch for is build your connection, make sure they're reading and developing a love of learning, a love of reading, because those stand the test of time. Don't stress too much. They're not in high school yet, but start building toward that and building that relationship so that you can speak into their lives. And also take time to make sure that you're starting to move toward independence. I would, if I chose, I would make sure that you're still very connected with math and language arts. And you can start maybe giving them a little bit of freedom with science and history, because science and history, it comes back around. Math and language arts, they build, especially math, it builds on its other. So that's my suggestion for middle school. Tomorrow we'll talk seventh grade and talk a little bit more tomorrow. And yeah, tomorrow and the next day we'll talk a little bit more about becoming independent and that business meeting that I do with my teens and how I handle it. I hope you're enjoying our series. Share it with a friend. Make sure you like and subscribe. And if you have a curriculum that you like or you want my take on it, drop a comment below. I love to talk. I love to help. Curriculum's my favorite. I'm like a junkie. I used to have way too much. But anyway, enjoy your day and enjoy your kids. And I'll see you soon.